Told you this was going to happen. Now it is illegal in the state of Florida to teach African American studies. Yes, it's against the law. Well, that's according to the administration of this fella, Governor Ron DeSantis out of Florida. Let me give you the background. So the governor has rejected a new AP course that stands for Advanced Placement in African American Studies from being taught in high schools. High schools. It's his latest action to keep woke conversations and lessons out of school. So let's dig into this. DeSantis officially banned, if you remember, the course in a letter from the state education department to the College Board, the organization that administers college readiness exams like the SAT. They also oversee advanced placement courses, AP, which allows students to earn college credits in subjects like English and chemistry. In a January 12th letter to the College Board, the Florida Education Department said the course is inexplicably contrary to Florida law and significantly lacks educational value. I need you to think about this statement. Think about this statement. They're saying, well, one, if you teach African American studies, it is contrary to Florida law. And it actually lacks educational value. Please understand, they have courses that literally teach you how to basket weave. And that is allowable under the elective category of the educational system. But you cannot teach a course called African American Studies. So it is a double whammy. It is against the law statutorily. And their opinion, their personal opinion is it lacks the educational credibility it should have. Now, you do realize that if it's already against the law, they do not need to present their opinion as to the educational prowess of the program. They decided to insert that. Why? Because they couldn't help themselves. Why is it against the law? Well, remember, all of these bills that permeated from the so-called anti-critical race theory bills were aimed to do one thing: to distort the history of this country, to eliminate the reality of bias, prejudice, and racism by white men, in particular, racist white men in this country, to present a false narrative because they know that the children in those schools are the future leaders of this country.
Yep.
They also know that the leaders of the country, the future leaders of the country, will be able to solve the problems that they left, which if that happens, it becomes an indictment on their own legacy, their own tradition, and their own leadership. They're not protecting children, ladies and gentlemen. They're protecting their own asses by manipulating curriculum intentionally. Think about this. They lie and tell you we're banning critical race theory, and in the bill itself, the terminology critical race theory doesn't even exist. They never banned it. I would have been okay with them banning critical race theory because it's not taught in K through 12 education. That would have been fine with me, but they didn't do that. What they banned was an instructor's ability, a teacher's ability to simply teach the truth to the curriculum. When you go to school, I've been a teacher for many years. You don't go there just to learn an academic education. You go there to learn a social education as well. There has to be a sense of morality contextualized in the curriculum in order for education to be effective. Who cares how much you know if nobody likes who you are? You have to teach social dynamics with the curriculum. In the summer of 2022, the College Board announced a pilot program to offer high school students an evidence-based introduction to African American studies. Would be launching in the 60 high schools across the country during the 2022-2023 school year, and will be set to expand to other campuses the following year. In response to Florida's move, the College Board told the Daily Beast that, and I quote, "We look forward to publicly releasing the updated course framework as soon as it is completed and well before this class is widely available in American high schools. Understand what they're saying. The framework is not complete, but their rejection is. There's more. In a separate statement, the College Board said, like all new AP courses, AP African American Studies is undergoing a rigorous multi-year pilot phase, collecting feedback from teachers, students, scholars, and policymakers. The process of piloting and revising course frameworks is a standard part of any AP course, and frameworks often change significantly as a result. DeSantis plays an active role in this process in stoking social and political anxieties, primarily among white Americans, that stem from conversations about race and gender that occur in K through 12 public school campuses or on those campuses. In April 2022, he signed the Stop Woke Act, which severely limits race-based discussions at schools. Wow, limiting race-based discussions at school. All right, my dear brother, thoughts here.
All right, so first off, thank you for having me. The second is, if we are following the history of this individual, then it will clearly state his intentions at every single turn in his governorship within the state. He sought to put migrants at Martha's Vineyard, which was a waste of money, but for him was a gain because he gave that money to a billionaire GOP donor. He accepted over $20,000 from a man who racially abused Barack Obama. He spoke 4 times at a conference held by conservatives who said black folks owe their freedom to white people, and the only race war is against white people. His first day of Pride, he passed anti-trans legislation, excuse me, because he's just that kind of diabolical individual. He is a stooge for the Koch brothers. He was a stooge for the late Sheldon Adelson, who also aligned with this. The main point that I hit on previously on the watch list, and I'm glad Dr. Richey hit on it, was that this isn't necessarily about, obviously it's about limiting the knowledge, but how I see this, in the summer of 2020, when the protests were coming about, black voices came to the forefront. And what we saw was not a complete, but a somewhat paradigm shift within white America to reflect. That's right. And basically what Ron DeSantis and many like him are doing now is saying, stop reflecting. We are, I don't like using white supremacy a lot, but we are the master race. We need to stop having these discussions. This is a very all lives matter way of putting it, which also was founded by a white supremacist group as well. So how I see this, he is aligning himself to be the front runner. Who knows if he's gonna take on Donald Trump or tuck his tail and just sit it out till 2028, TBD. But how I see this is, as Dr. Richey said, it is about, for lack of a better word, grooming the next generation of white conservatives so they don't have to have this in their mentality going towards life and then carrying out everything that he is doing from here on out.
Very well said. Scripture says, my people die because of a lack of knowledge.